Again, everybody. Hope everyone's all right and you're keeping well and safe and you're enjoying the videos. Here's our latest video. So today what I'm going to do are some upper body exercises, some strengtheners for your upper body, predominantly your back. I'm going to do 4 exercises which we're going to concentrate on your posture as well. So a couple of things for you before we start. Remember, if you're not feeling very well today, or you start feeling unwell partway through doing the exercises, you can stop. You can take a break. You can take a breather. You don't need to go overboard. Just take your time, do what you can do, and importantly, just try and enjoy what we're doing as well. Today, a couple of things that you can do to change the exercises. If you aren't feeling very good today, if you are feeling a little bit tired, you can do these exercises sat down. You can also do these exercises stood up, and I'll show you variations for both, for either seated or standing up. So I'm going to leave it up to you depending on how you're feeling today. You will also need a resistance band. So if you've got one of these kicking around, if you found one in your drawer or something like that, or in your car. I know some of you like to keep these in your car for some bizarre reason. Should be in your house so you can use them. Then go and get it in your car, from your car now, from the sideboard, because you'll need your resistance band. I will give you options as we go along for making the exercise either slightly easier or slightly harder, again depending on how you're feeling. Jules is around somewhere. She's in a bit of one of her funny moods, so we'll see how we get on. So we'll do our little bit of a warm up. We'll do our strengthening exercises predominantly for the back, and then we'll do a few little stretches to finish, and then you can crack on with the rest of your day. How's that sound? All right? Good. Okay. So if you're going to sit down, you'll need a fairly sturdy chair. And when I do the warm-up, I'm going to show you standing up and seated variations. All right? Here we go then. So you don't need your resistance band just yet. You can put that to one side. So if you are seated on your chair, please sit towards the front edge of your chair. You shouldn't be leaning. You shouldn't be slouching back in your chair. Sitting up nice and tall, marching on the spot. So when you are marching on the spot, we're going to land on the toes and roll towards the heels. You'll start to feel your thigh muscles and your hip muscles working. If you're able to, bring your arms into it. If you're standing up, it's the same. I know that sounds a bit controversial. It's the same. You are still landing on your toes, rolling towards your heels, a little bit of a swing of those arms. So I just want a nice steady rhythm. I don't need you sprinting. We just want to get that blood going through your body. We want to try to start to elevate that heart rate and try and make you feel a little bit out of breath, because that is all normal when you are exercising. You don't need to turn around as I'm turning around. And stay facing me. I'm just giving you different profiles. There we are. If you're sitting down, still maintaining that nice upright posture. Okay, with our arms, we're going to be reaching out to the front. So I just want you to stretch out your shoulders and your chest. Reaching out, keep those feet moving nice and rhythmically. There she goes. Very nice. Back to normal marching for me, please. Okay, be careful of your shoulders for this one. We're going to stretch up. Again, nice and easy. If your shoulders aren't so good, do what you can. So if that means just a little bit of a movement, this kind of range of movement, then please do that. You might find one arm's a little bit better than the other. Just go with where you can. If you are able to do the full range of movement, please do the full range of movement. And then we're feeling those heart rates creeping up. We're going to reach forwards. We're reaching forwards. Still just a little bit of a check of your posture. Just have a little bit of a think. Still standing up nice and tall if you're standing up. Still sitting up nice and tall if you're sitting down on your chair. Back to normal marching for me, please. So we're going to change our legs this time. If you're standing up, you're going to do a little tap forward. I want you to tap forward with your heels to start off with. And a little bit of a swing of those arms. If you're seated, it's exactly the same. I want you to reach with your heel first of all. Can you swing those arms? Can you manage opposite arm and leg? So you're thinking a little bit about your coordination. Still sitting up nice and tall. If you're sat down, I don't want to When you're accidentally slumping back in your chair, maintaining that nice tall posture throughout. Okay, we're going to change our feet this time. We're going to lead with our toes. So a little bit more of a stretch now through the front of the foot, through your ankle, through your shin. Still swinging those arms. Fabulous. Back to normal marching. Okay, if you're stood up, just be careful of things that might be either side of you. So I'm just conscious of the chair that's next to me, because what we're going to do now is a little toe tap side to side. Toe tap side to side. So you start to feel it through the hips, you're shifting your body weight through the hips, and you can bring your arms up and down. If you're doing this sat down, still sitting up nice and tall, those toe taps side to side, just opening up the hips, but also giving yourself something to think about because your arms are going in a different direction. Just to get those brain cells working. Okay, so keeping those feet going side to side, your arms are going to push away. Fabulous. And if you're doing this stood up, lovely job. We're going to go back to curls, and we're going to push away. Fabulous. Back to marching. Okay, so we're going to do 10 seconds where we're going to go a little bit quicker, a little bit more purposeful with our elbows and with our legs. All right, I just want to get that heart rate coming up a little bit. It's 10 seconds and then we'll come back to this normal pace. Okay, so I just want you to psych yourself up. So when we are increasing our pace, it's a little bit more of a vigorous movement with our elbows, a little bit more of a vigorous movement with our legs. Are you ready? Get set. Go. 1, 2, come on, 3, 4, come on, power those elbows. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then just coming back to a normal marching pace. We are going to do that again in a moment. So just back to a normal marching pace. So this is just a really good way and a safe way of getting that heart rate up and getting that breathing rate up, but without going overboard. Okay, have you got your breath back? So we're going to do another 10 seconds, either stood up or sat down. Still thinking about your postures. Wait for it, wait for it. So another 10 seconds. Purposeful arms, purposeful legs. Okay, are you ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, come on. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9.5, 10. And just slowing it back down there. Lovely job. Okay, heels up and down, shoulders up and down. There you go. That's got your heart rate going, hasn't it? So if you stood up, heels up and down, shoulders up and down. And then just roll those shoulders backwards. Fabulous. Okay, and steady there. Just relax there. So if you're stood up, nice and solid on your own 2 feet, a little bit of a space apart between your feet, just roll those shoulders back, hands to the front. If you're sat down, it's the same, just keeping that posture, hands to the front. We're going to push those arms out, we to stretch out your back. When you pull back, stretching out your chest. So all the way forwards, all the way back, all the way forwards, all the way back. One more for me, really stretching out that back, and then coming back, stretching out your chest. And relax there, give those shoulders a shake. We're going to do a little bit of a twist now. If you stood up, just a tiny little bend in your knees. You want soft knees, nice straight backs, one arm on top of the other. If you sat down, nice straight backs, one arm on top of the other. You're going to gently twist from one side to the other. You're not just moving your elbows from side to side, you're trying to move the whole of your torso so that you get that movement through your rib cage, through your back, through your sides. Nice and smooth. Fabulous. And relax there. If you sat down, arms down by your side, just roll those shoulders back, sitting up nice and tall. If you stood up, shoulders back, arms down by your side. You're going to lean over to one side. Feel that stretch through the side body. Come up, across to the other side. Across to the other side. I want you to use your tummy muscles as you move from one side to the other. And again, one more time, over to one side Keep that back nice and long. And then back to the centre, and then just relax there. How are we feeling? All right? Got your heart rate going? Feeling a bit warmer? A bit more lively as well? Tip top. Okay, so you will need your resistance band. So remember, if you're not feeling very well, if something hurts, then please stop or just take a break. Just do what you can do. There's no reason to have any pulled muscles to go overboard or anything like that. So when you are doing your resistance band exercises, if you keep your band nice and long like this, it's going to be a little bit easier. If you fold your band in half when you're doing some of these exercises, it's going to be twice as hard. I'm going to leave it up to you. If you want to do the exercises with a single length to start off with, get used to them, and then as you become a little bit stronger and a little bit more confident, you think, oh, I'll just make it a little bit harder. You can fold your band in half. I'm going to do all the exercises with a single band. Okay? So the first exercise we're going to do is for the backs of our shoulders, so back here, which is good for your posture because it helps to pull back your shoulders and keep your back nice and straight rather than allowing your shoulders to slump forwards like this. So if you are sat down, the band is across your lap, palms are down, and you're going to pick up your band about, 10 to 12 inches apart, and you're going to sit with a nice straight back. If you're stood up, guess what? You stood up nice and tall with a nice straight back. I want everyone now to roll their shoulders up and back, and then just hold your shoulders there. Palms down with your band, arms out to the front. Okay, you ready? So we're going to pull this band apart. Wait for it. Try and make the effort the same in both arms. All right? Don't just be pulling on one side like you're pulling a bow and arrow. We want to pull both arms at the same time. So shoulders back. Nice straight backs, shoulders back, nice straight backs. We're going to do 10 of these. Are you ready? Here we go. So pulling apart, and then slowly with control, bringing it back in. Pulling apart, nice and controlled in. Don't let the band control you. You control the band. That's 3. Think about your postures. 4, 5. Keep control of that band. Rest if you need to rest. 6. Nice and even on both sides. 7. You should be feeling that through the backs of those shoulders. 8. 9. Last one coming up. Make this one your best one today. 10. Nice and controlled, bringing it back in. Band back down. Give your shoulders a bit of a shake. How are we doing? All right? Yes, Alison. Good. So, band back on your lap. Just give your shoulders a bit of a shake. Excuse me. We are going to do that same movement again, that pulling apart movement. Everything else is the same. So your posture's the same, shoulder position the same. That effort that you're putting in to make it even, to make it equal on both sides of your body also remains the same. The difference being this time is that your palms are uppermost. So palms up towards the ceiling, scoop up your band. You want your hands about 10 to 12 inches apart. Same if you are stood up. Okay. You need to keep those elbows tucked in. Whether you sat down or stood up, elbows tucked in. Roll those shoulders up and back, thinking about the posture. So we're going to do this in 2 parts. Part 1 is specifically for the internal muscles inside your shoulder. Okay? And we're going to do 5 of these. All I would like for you to do from here is pull the band apart. Okay, you're going to keep those elbows tucked in. If you sat down, that's exactly the same. We're going to do 5. So postures, keep those elbows tucked in. Here we go. So pull apart, nice and controlled, bringing it back in. 1, 2, try and not hold your breath. 3, 4, one more. 5, and relax there. Just give those shoulders a bit of a shake. You'll feel that deep inside your shoulder. If you're an international cricketer, a bowler, that is an exercise that international cricketers do. That movement there where you're rotating your shoulder outwards. Okay. So we're just going to change that slightly. We're going to add a second part onto that movement. The second part, once you pull the band apart, you're going to bring the band in towards your tummy, in towards your belly button. You will move your elbows backwards. So as if you're nudging someone in their rib cage who stood too close behind you. If you are sat down, you might be sat on a chair that's got arms. Please be aware of that. I don't want you cracking your elbow on the arm of your chair because that's quite painful. Also, if you're sat all the way back on your chair, you're not going to have an awful lot of room to move your arm backwards. So it's quite important here to sit forward on the edge of your chair. Then you've created some space behind you. Okay. So, palms still up. Hands still about 10 to 12 inches apart. We're just out a little bit for this one. So we've just moved our hands away from our body a little bit. Nice straight back, shoulders back. So we're going to do 10 of these. Now you will start to feel this. When you pull back on your band, squeeze your shoulder blades together. A lot to think about with this one. Here we go. So we're going to pull apart. We're going to pull in towards our tummy. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Don't hold your breath. And relax. That's one. Arms out. Pull apart. Pull in. Squeeze. Two. And again. Apart. In. Squeeze. Three. Apart. In. Squeeze. Four. Out. Pull. In. Don't hold your breath. That's five. We're halfway through. Out. Pull. In. Squeeze those shoulder blades. Six. Out. Pull in and squeeze. Seven. And again. Eight. We've got two to go. Come on. Let's go. Come on. I know it's a little bit achy on those back muscles, but think what this is doing for your posture. Last one. Really squeeze those shoulder blades. And relax there. Give those shoulders a shake. Nicely done. Got two more to do. So, the next exercise is for the very tops of our back here. These muscles here, at the very tops of our shoulders, that connect into our neck as well. We've all done this movement, haven't we? Shrugging, that's the movement that we're going to do. We're going to try and lift our shoulders as high as we can towards our earlobes. So it's a little bit fiddly, this one. For those of you who are sat down, I'm going to show you first of all, take the very ends of your band. You've created this loop, drop it towards the ground, and then you put both feet into your band. So far, so good. See this floppiness that you've got here? We don't want floppiness. So I want you to just inch your fingers, inch your hands down your band. So you've got a little bit of tension on your band. When you sit up nice and tall, your arms should be straight. There should be some tension on your band. We don't want to be sat nice and tall with a floppy band. We want to be sat nice and tall with some tension on our band, straight arms. Okay? Wait for me there. Those of you who are stood up, a little bit tricky for this one, be careful. You've got the ends of your band, you've dropped it towards the ground, you're going to get both feet on your band. Now if you're feeling a little bit unsteady on your feet, then you might want to do this sat down. You're going to stand up nice and tall. When you stand up nice and tall, there's tension on your band already. Keep those arms straight. So that's the important thing, whether you sat down or you stood up, you're keeping those arms straight. If after you've done this exercise a few times, you're finding it easy, you can always move your hands further down your band to put more tension on your band. But for now, we're just going to keep our hands quite high on our band. Standing up nice and tall, shoulders back, just pulling a little bit on your shoulder blades. We're going to lift our shoulders towards our earlobes. So for this one, if I just stand side on, I'm not pulling on my band with my hands. I'm lifting from my shoulders. Okay, we're going to do 10 of those. So standing up nice and tall or sitting up nice and tall. Here we go. Shoulders to ears. There's one. Nice and controlled, lowering it back down. Lift those shoulders as high as you can. And control down. And again. Lovely job. I think this is number 4. So just keeping it nice and controlled. 5. Getting those shoulders up as high as you can. Sit down just so I can do second 5. Shoulders back, chest out, nice straight backs. 6, 7, 8. Don't hold your breath. Try and breathe normally. 9. Remember lifting from those shoulders, not your hands. 10. Fabulous. Relax there. Take your time, especially if you stood up. Take your time. Step off your band. You all right? Give your shoulders a shake. So I've got one last upper body exercise to do, and it's slightly different depending on whether you're sat down or stood up, and it's a row. So if you sat down, it's called a seated row. If you stood up, I'm going to do a variation called a bent over row. Let me show you both, because if you're not happy doing the bent over, you're not happy doing the standing up version, then you can sit down and do the seated version. Let me show you the seated version first of all. Take the ends of your band, and you're going to put the band around both feet, except this time your feet are extended slightly. We're not dead straight, just got a little bit of a bend in the knees, and your toes are off the ground. You're going to hold the ends of your band, and you're going to sit up nice and tall. So this is your start position. We're going to pull on the band in a moment. Okay, so just hold your horses there for a moment if you sat down. If you stood up, slightly differently. Take the ends of your band, drop it towards the ground, and again, just be careful as you stand on both parts of your band. Just stand up nice and tall for me for the moment. Shoulders back. So for this one, if you're going to do it stand up, the version's called a bent over row. And the bent over bit comes from pushing your bum backwards. Try and keep your back straight. So not rounding our backs, and keep our back straight. Our bum goes backwards slightly, and you can see I've created a bit of an angle there between my leg and my torso, but I'm not at 90 degrees. I'm probably about 30, 45 degrees or so there. I'm just starting to feel a little bit of a pull through my bum, through the back of my leg, and I don't want to go beyond that. I don't want any pulled muscles here. If you're in this position, you're going to need some strength in your lower back. So if you're not too sure whether you've got the strength at the moment, then please do the seated version. It doesn't matter. You're still going to exercise the same muscles. If you're feeling okay in this position, you hold this body position. You are not lifting your head up and down. The bits that move for the bent over row are your arms, where you try and bring those elbows up towards the ceiling and you squeeze your shoulder blades. So I'm not lifting my head, not pecking for seeds like a chicken. Okay, so this is your start position if you're standing up. And if you sat down, this is your start position. You're pulling those hands towards your hip bones. And you're squeezing your shoulder blades. So whether you sat down or stood up, you're squeezing those shoulder blades. I'm gonna do 5 sat down and then 5 stood up so that you can see both versions. All right, here we go. So either in your bent over position or in your seated position. Here we go. We're going to pull, squeeze those shoulder blades. That's 1. Remember, you control the band. 2. Don't let the band control you, okay? 3. Nice and steady. 4. Keep that posture. 5. So just wait there just a second while I reposition. Here we go, second 5. 6. Squeezing those shoulder blades together. 7. Keeping that posture, keeping strong in your backs. I think that's 8. 9. Last one. 10. If you are bent over, before you do anything, stand up nice and tall. Take your time, step off your band. If you sat down, take that band from around your feet. Put your band to one side, you don't need them anymore. And take a seat for me. Everyone all right? How's your back feeling? You shouldn't be feeling those muscles, but you can probably appreciate, if you can strengthen those back muscles, how good it is for your posture, especially at the moment if we're spending more time sat down than we would normally. Keeping that posture is really important. That's the hard work done. So I'm just going to spend a few minutes doing some stretches. I'll concentrate on the upper body, and then we're done for the day, and then you crack on with the rest of your day. Okay, so we're going to sit up nice and tall. If you are still stood up, get my words out, then you can do these same stretches standing up. It makes no difference, to be honest. So sitting or standing up nice and tall, you're going to put one hand in front of the other, and then push both hands out as far as you can until you feel that stretch across your upper back. We're just going to hold that for a few moments. Try and breathe normally. Just relax. We're going to do that one more time. So push those hands out, stretching behind your shoulders, top of your back. Just a few more seconds. And relax there. So we're going to do a stretch for our chest and the front of our shoulders. You can either put your hands on the small of your back and hold onto your chair if you prefer. I'm going to put my hands on the small of my back. Sit up nice and tall. I'm going to roll my shoulders back and press my chest forward. So now I'm feeling that stretch through the front of my shoulders and through my collarbones. I'm just going to relax. And again, chest out, shoulders back. Another good one for your posture. And relax there. Quick stretch for your shoulders. Although the exercises have been dominated by your back muscles, clearly when you're moving your arms around, there's a little bit of work going on with your shoulders. So a quick shoulder stretch. You're going to reach one arm across the front of your body, underneath with your other arm, hold onto your elbow, and just gently pulling in on that elbow until you feel that stretch running through the back of your shoulder, through the back of your arm. And then easing out of that. Your other arm, please, across the front of your body, holding onto your elbow, and then just gently pulling in on that elbow. And then easing out of that. We're going to do a little twist now, and this twist is predominantly for the lower part of your back, through your rib cage and through your sides. You're going to sit up nice and tall. You're going to take a hand and pop it on your opposite knee. All right, you with me so far? This spare hand holds onto the side of your chair. You sit up nice and tall, and you're going to pull yourself around towards this spare hand. Now try and move from your lower back through the middle back and then into your upper back. Try and not hold your breath. Try and stay nice and tall as you've rotated around. And then gently unwind, come back to the centre. We'll do the other side. So hand onto your opposite knee, spare hand hold onto the side of the chair, sit up tall, then pull yourself around towards this spare hand. Again, lower back, middle back, upper back. And then slowly coming back through to the centre. Let's give those shoulders a shrug, keeping them loose. And roll your shoulders backwards. Are we feeling all right? We got through it. There we go. Not get too close to the camera, otherwise you'll be in for a shock. So, warm up. A little bit more vigorous with the warm up, just to get that blood really going through your body. And when we've done our strength exercises, concentrating on the upper back, I've been talking about your posture, about keeping those shoulders back, about sitting up or standing up nice and tall. When you're doing the exercises, just be careful. Like I said, there's a few little points where there's a danger of losing your balance or tripping over the band. So please be careful. If you're doing this with someone else in your house, then that's better, because then you can keep an eye on each other and you can say, oh, can you just mind, and whatever. It's just look out for each other. And as always, you've got the option there of sitting down, doing those exercises in your chair if you prefer. So I hope you enjoyed that. There'll be more to come. Keep practicing, keep staying safe. Oh, hello again to everyone in Formby and Southport and everyone else out there as well. And I will see you very soon.